My name is CJ Foeckler, and I'm a commercial editorial product photographer. I went to school for graphic design, and I was an art director and a designer for almost 20 years. I took a photo class. That was it in college. So I wanted to shoot concerts to get into concerts. So I started shooting concerts not really knowing what I was doing at all. And then slowly got into more and more stuff and started seeing things in magazines that I liked and started trying to reverse engineer the lighting and figure all that out. So that's where that stuff came in. It was I'm just gonna buy a bunch of stuff and try to figure this out on my own. And then started shooting other things outside of that, product things just for fun. And then I started shooting things at work because I knew my way around the camera, and so we started using gear there. If a client needed something, but we didn't have budget to hire a photographer to shoot it, I'd be like, I can probably make it look like that. I can shoot it in-house and we can do it. Doing more and more freelance outside of work, and it just got to the point where it was like, okay, I'm turning jobs away because I have a day job. Somebody needs to shoot something next week and I can't take off work in time. So I was doing a lot of it in my nights and weekends, and it just got to the point where it was like, I'm not doing enough here that I'm getting fulfilled. I want to do this on my own. So June will be 2 years into that now. Everybody always thinks, I always come back to the gear thing. It's everybody thinks you need expensive everything. You don't need expensive everything. That 80D up there, I've shot campaign type stuff with that, and nobody would know the difference between that and anything else. Knowing your gear is huge, because a lot of stuff that I shoot, you don't always have the luxury of time to prep and plan things out. At the time, I didn't know where the files were gonna get used, and I was like, that's a higher megapixel count than my 5D at the time. So I was like, I'm gonna use that. Nobody needed a difference. Photos look great, especially that. If you're studio lighting stuff, it really doesn't matter. Like I said, I do a lot of environmental, in situation stuff. So it's a lot of just kind of getting somebody to stand how they would normally stand, and then working off of that. So a lot of times I'm not always telling people what to do. We kind of see where they start, and then I'll adjust them. Sometimes it just takes a while. They're not always comfortable. So I'll have a handful of go-to poses. Okay, we're gonna change up your pose. How are you comfortable standing if you're just standing around chatting with me? And if it's like this, fine, we'll start like that, and we'll just kind of rotate. Or we'll get them, I'll have them oh, hey, have you fiddle with your watch a little bit. Pull your sleeves down, adjust your collar, scratch the back of your neck, that kind of stuff. As long as they're constantly moving, they're forgetting about how they're standing. For me, it's it's not the actual action that I want to capture, it's the in-between stuff. So it feels realistic and it feels natural for them and looks natural for them. So as soon as you can get them to not think about their photo being taken in a way, that's kind of what it's all about.
Top one on your website. Was he one of those stiff people, or was he pretty?
No, he was good. He was he's been through this and that kind of thing a million times, so he's just knows exactly what to do. It's like working with a model. Like you said, the celebrity stuff is cool. Anytime you get to shoot a celebrity, it's wow, it's that person. But ultimately, you find out that they're people just like everybody else. Everybody holds them on this high pedestal, and it's okay, it's Giannis, but he's just a dude. He's there with his wife and his little kids, and his little kids are running around while they're doing the photo shoot, So that stuff is always fun and cool. But like I was telling you earlier, it's cool because of who it is, but at the same time, that's not always the most exciting work. It's great because sometimes that work pays really well. But sometimes the more exciting stuff are the personal projects that I'm doing, or working with a small brand that doesn't have a ton of money that are letting me kind of do my own thing. So I don't want to downplay it because it's cool. But when you're looking at it from a photo perspective, it's okay, the setup was just a regular setup. It wasn't anything fancy. Most of it is just getting practice over the years doing all different kinds of things. When I was at the agency, I was shooting event stuff, I was shooting portrait stuff, I was shooting product stuff, I was shooting lifestyle. It was all these different kinds of things, and I was shooting them in ways that I wouldn't have shot them if it was my project. A lot of times I was matching ways that other photographers had shot things. I was reverse engineering how they approached it and shooting things in a way that I wouldn't typically have done it. So for me, that gave me a ton of skills in my back pocket to save down the line when I get thrown into a situation that I need to capture something. Like, how would I do this? Okay, the way that I would do it isn't necessarily going to look good, but I did this one thing this one time 10 years ago, that might actually work for this. All the practice over the years of just like getting thrown in these random situations has kind of helped me. That paired with being in an agency for 20 years. Ultimately, it comes down to like shooting stuff and just putting it out in the world. A lot of younger people that are afraid of social media and want it to be the perfect content. I only share things that I like. Post it, people see it. If they don't like it, by the time you post something else, like it's forgotten about and it's down the time, like whatever. Just if it's not good enough, it's just gonna force you to do something better the next time. A lot of people think they need to be doing the cool thing that everybody's doing because that's what's cool right now, and everybody gets in that mindset of like, I need to do what everybody else is doing because that's the cool thing. Like, no, just do your own thing. Do whatever you think is cool. Like, do that thing, but like put a spin on it. Do it a little different. Like, make it your own thing. I think people need to step outside of themselves a little bit and